Okay, so here we are on day 10, and this is what I'm going to be doing from now on, which is a eating record. Now, I naturally really hate this, so I've drawn this little picture even before I started doing it, which is me furious. I don't know if you can read it, but I've written here, "You've got to be kidding me," because there's part of me that absolutely loathes this whole idea, which is why I need to do it. Anyway, so I've got a whole double page in my book, my notebook for tomorrow, because I don't know how much I'm going to write. So here we are, Saturday 16th of February, eating record. And what I've got for every time I eat, I'm going to fill this in. So the time that I eat, and the next thing along says grounding question mark. So I need to tick that to show that I've done my grounding. The next column is emotions, and I need to write down the emotions that I'm feeling, and probably I'll fill this in before I start eating. And then I've got time set as a minimum, so I'm going to set myself a time, and I'll just jot that in before I eat. And then what I'll do is I'll eat, and after I've done it, I'll put down the time I actually took. Because what I've found is when I've actually had the presence of mind to write down a set time, that kind of ensures the success of it. And I always take longer than the time set. So I think that will be make me feel really good to see that down. Instead of just doing it and not acknowledging it. And then over here, I've got comments, which is anything I want to write about that meal. And a couple of things. I was just getting, I hate this as I was doing it. So I've got, there's me looking even angrier, and I'm saying really, and then swearing terribly. So, and there's just one thing over here at the top, which I've got here. I probably can't read it. It says alternative emotional outlets, which is ways that I can express how I'm feeling without eating. Because the point is not to, well, eventually the point is to take away the feeling that I'm panicking and this is an emergency situation. But I'm not going to be able to do that immediately. It's going to take a while. But what's occurred to me is that I can still have those feelings, but I don't necessarily need to try and eat them. So I've come up with a few ways that I can express those feelings, get them out of my system without using food. So I've got here is iPhone voice memo. So it's quite good just to put my voice memo on and just record how I feel and then delete it. That works quite well. Burning contracts is something from Carla McLaren's The Language of Emotions, and there's no time to go into it at the moment, but if this is something that might interest you, have a look at that book. Visualizations. Sometimes, because I do a lot of self-hypnosis, sometimes when I am doing the grounding, which is a state that I think is kind of similar to being in a bit of a meditative, slightly self-hypnotic state, I will kind of conjure up visions in my brain, and they will be kind of dealing with maybe difficult feelings and things like that. I'm not talking about visualizations that you might use to change your state. That is completely different. This is about processing the bad stuff that I'm feeling. Okay, it's a very unusual way to look at visualizations. Jackie Chan. That's another thing from Carla McLaren's book, and she recommends you can look over difficult memories, and then you can imagine yourself being like Jackie Chan and doing like lots of kung fu. So I've done that before, and it's good because actually you're physically doing it. And then the last one I've got there is paper graffiti. And sometimes what I've done is I get a piece of paper and I just write all the bad stuff I feel all over it, and then I might burn it. Burning it's quite good actually, it's quite therapeutic, or just rip it up. So I'm going to be trying those, and that's really exciting to think about that. And yeah, we'll see how we go. So I will leave you with my furious self who really doesn't want to do this, and I think it's really good to acknowledge her and have a bit of a sense of humour about it. Okay, this eating record is a massive challenge for me, but in the spirit of experimentation I shall do it.